Everyone knows him as the most interesting man in the world.
Has taken a photograph of him. He is the most interesting man in the world.
Everyone knows him as the most interesting man in the world, but now he is being called the least honorable man in the world, at least by one person. The actor shown here, Jonathan Goldsmith, being sued by his former agent for holding out payment from an ad campaign the agent got him. Attorney Erin Ehrlich with me now says the agent has a case. Emily Compagno disagrees, saying the most interesting man doesn't owe anyone anything. So, Erin, I want to start with you. I mean, this seems like a timing issue because the actor jumped ship to another agency. So this is the wrinkle, right?
Well, he did stop paying the commissions about a year ago. And so, look, we all know the old adage, a man is only as good as his word. And look, is the plaintiff's attorney slightly melodramatic, referring to the most interesting man in the world as the least honorable man in the world? Yeah, a bit. But the message is loud and clear. If you make a deal, you're going to have to live up to it. We expect it and the law requires it.
Okay, Emily, you are siding with the actor, the one that we see in the commercials, Jonathan Goldsmith. And what is your point? That he has a right to work with whomever he wants to work with and he paid his bill?
Well, and defense counsel, more importantly, is going to argue here that the contract was invalid to begin with. Now, we're seeing a trend in Hollywood right now with this argument falling under the Talent Agencies Act. And this is what got artists to successfully argue their way out of their contracts, like Kesha and Arsenio Hall. And it's what Philip Phillips is using right now, the American Idol winner, to argue that, look, these contracts are invalid because it has to do with the agent's licensing. And here, the lawsuit is actually being presented by the agency. So that agent that he worked with, which then left the agency and then became his wife, he could also creatively argue that he is paying her commission in the form of community property.
How much money are we talking? I mean, for an ad campaign like this, what is the ballpark figure for the fees that the agent was probably due? 10% of, I'm assuming, the final number.
Well, he was due to make about $1 million next year alone. Look, hindsight is 20/20, but the courts are not there to write litigants a better contract than they wrote for themselves. That is not the business of the courts. Now, there's been absolutely no evidence presented that there's been any violations of statutes or even of common law. At this point, this guy is just looking to back out because he says they've been paid enough. Well, you know what? Someone who's maybe done a few days' work that was only brought to him through his then talent rep, that opportunity only came from them. I think the argument could be made that maybe he's actually been paid too much.
Okay, well, hold that thought. We'll leave this particular case, but I want to ask you about another one that is actually just crossing the wires now. LinkedIn Corporation agreeing to pay $13 million, and this is to settle a class action lawsuit over sending email solicitations to its members' contacts without permission. So social networking managers applying even to social networking companies, it seems like. What is your take on this? That is to say, using my contacts, any one of your contacts, Emily, to try to gin up more business, which is apparently what LinkedIn is more or less saying, okay, we may have done.
Right. I think the settlement reflects the growing trend that we're seeing that's in favor of user privacy on all counts. So it has to do not only with the privacy of the data searches, the data they hold, but also being open fodder for solicitation. So I think this is a really huge settlement. Granted, they did it without fault, but at the same time, this is a huge settlement because it's basically saying, look, we know the courts are trending a certain way. We're not even going to go there.
Erin, is that your take? $13 million to settle this class action lawsuit. Is it a win for privacy?
It is absolutely a win for privacy, and the bar really needs to be set at this point. Everyone's on social media. People are signing up for various websites with the belief, and the rightful belief, that these companies are not going to start dishing out their information, their private information, without their knowledge and without their permission.
And I also think, too, the fact that LinkedIn is a professional tool, it has a different kind of tone and use case scenario than, say, Facebook or Twitter or Instagram.
Absolutely.
Emily Compagno, thank you very much. Erin Ehrlich, glad to have you with us.